Well, welcome into beautiful Inola, Oklahoma for today's Semi-Pro Saturday on the Southern Sports Network. I'm Stephen Blackiston. Alongside me once again for some great semi-pro action, Chris Dotson. Chris, we have a couple of teams starting their season, some that have already been in the middle of their season, as we have the Tulsa Gators here today at home against the Kansas City Panthers. Tulsa's already played a couple of games this season, but it's the first one for the Panthers to get their year going.
Yeah, well, it looks like for the Tulsa Gators, they come into this one 2-0. These guys are well primed and ready for this matchup for sure. And not only that, but they're on top of the league right now. So it's one of those things where they are ready, willing, primed up. The Kansas City Panthers on the other side now, coming from the MLF, the Mid-States Football League up in the Missouri-Kansas area. This is really their first go-around. This is their first time actually. It's kind of like the preseason, Stephen, and it's pretty much what I was going at. But for these guys, you know, they play later in the season. They actually start in about mid to late April, so this is going to be kind of a dress rehearsal for them. For the Gators, honestly, I expect a pretty handily handled game this one, and I expect it to get ugly by the second quarter.
Well, as we'll talk about later in the broadcast, the Gators do have a secret weapon on the sideline that is new for this week, a face familiar in semi-pro, but we'll get to that later in the broadcast. But as Chris mentioned, the Panthers, this is nothing more than really an exhibition for them, and what a team to get your exhibition against, your knock the rust off game, more or less, against one of the best teams in the Four States Football League this season.
Yeah, and not only that, but they were coming off of a national championship run last year. They came up a little bit short in the championship game. But, you know, this is another one of those instances where I think Tulsa is really hungry, ready to go into postseason for the Four States Football League and getting ready for the national championship game. That'll be coming up here in September, actually.
Yeah, and Chris, we've kind of seen the Tulsa Gators sort of lifespan. We started broadcasting with them in 2020 when they came around out of the ashes of the Tri-City Panthers, so a little bit of a Panther connection here today as well. But it's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride for the Tulsa Gators, whether it was the Oklahoma City Bears or it was the Muskogee Stars last season. But, Chris, do you think this might be the year that the Gators can get over the hump and get the championship at the end of the year?
I really do. Speaking of the Bears, the Oklahoma City Bears are not the same team that we're used to. You know, there's been a lot of changeover with personnel, even coaching changes for the Bears, and that's played a huge part, as we saw a couple weeks ago, that the Gators came back in vengeance for the past several years to get over that hump against the Bears, and they were able to win pretty handedly, too. I mean, it was not even a close contest. So, in my opinion, the Gators are probably the hottest team in the Four-State Football League right now.
Well, there's not a lot of teams left in the Four-State Football League as well. That's one thing to note in the difference between last season, this season, even into 2020, as the captains will go out to midfield for both teams. Some improvement that we've seen in other parts of this league. The mid-pack really has come together, whether it's the Northwest Arkansas Generals, who have stuck around for their third season, finally getting a win on the field this year against the Wichita Skyhawks. The Wichita Skyhawks, also a team that's been dangerous, have been to the semifinal a handful of times over the last couple of years with some key wins against Muskogee in the playoffs. And then the newcomers, the Oklahoma Hornets, who are really just kind of a rebrand of the Tahlequah Vipers from the last handful of years, are getting going this year as well and seem to be kind of a mid-pack team as well.
Yeah, they certainly are. Again, going back to last year, a reformation for Skytook, or not for Skytook, but for Tahlequah, and to come in as the Hornets. They established themselves really early, had some great key win to begin their season. They're going up against Wichita right now, which is in the first quarter. I believe the last time that we had checked the score was 13-13. We'll double-check some of those scores throughout the game, too. But that's another great matchup that is going to really test the mettle for both Wichita and the Hornets. That's going to really tell you who's number 2 in the league. And in my opinion, whoever the victor is in that one, and they're playing in Muskogee, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, they're
today.
playing right down the road from us on Highway 69 at Love Hatbox Field, home of the former Muskogee Stars and All-Stars. And the other team to talk about in the Four-State Football League is, of course, the Joplin Crusaders, who have been around for just about as long as I've been alive in different capacities. What can we expect from the Crusaders this season as kind of maybe a dark horse?
Well, they are a dark horse because you just never know. They always are reloading with talent. That's one thing I do have to hand it to Sam Sturgis' team, is that they have never stopped recruiting. They've been bringing in fresh blood and trying to get them up to par as far as the speed of the game, understanding the semi-pro game, and also the competitiveness. They've been rebuilding, quote-unquote, rebuilding for past several seasons, but I think this season, honestly, they got a good core group of guys. This could be a team that we could see as number 2, possibly number 3 in the league out of only 6 teams now. But like you said earlier, you know, the competition between the teams is stiffened up quite a bit, so you're getting a lot better quality out of each game.
Yeah, the Bears have taken a step back, which have been the perennial power of this league for the last handful of seasons. Even before COVID, the Oklahoma Bears were the team to beat, and they've stepped back into that mid-pack. So it'll be interesting to see tonight how Tulsa can separate themselves apart, if at all possible, as that number 1 team, kind of a crown that they have been trying to get to, just haven't been able to over the seasons, as there's been a team in Oklahoma City that's been in their way.
Well, I can tell you, it's kind of a tale of two Cox right now. You got Kevin Cox, that is the head coach, or was the head coach of the Oklahoma City Bears, was spotted, and apparently the cat is out of the bag. He's going to be on this Gators staff as well to complement his nephew, Alex Cox, who's the linebacker on this team this year.
Yeah, that could be the secret to the success, the secret formula, you might say, as that's been kind of the spearhead for the Oklahoma Bears those last couple of years. Kevin Cox, the head coach out there in Oklahoma City.
And let me tell you this, he's probably one of the most winningest, if not the winningest coach in semi-pro football. He's been going at it since 2010, back in the OMFL days, Oklahoma Metro Football League days. And it's been one success after another after another. He doesn't hardly lose, honestly, a handful of games in his total lineage. Honestly, maybe you can count them on 1.5 hands. So a great success story right there. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to play call. He knows how to recruit. This is going to be a huge pickup for the Gators.
Yeah, you know, the Gators were already kind of in line to be the best of the league. Now adding Kevin Cox just might put them ahead of schedule as we get ready for kickoff here at Inola, Oklahoma. The Gators will be in the gray with green helmets, and the Kansas City Panthers in the gray and blue trim with white helmets. Important to note for the Kansas City Panthers, since we talked about this is basically an exhibition game for them, the first game of their upcoming season. I don't even have a roster yet for the Panthers as we get underway with the opening kickoff, and Tulsa will start at their own 29-yard line where the offense will trot out, led by Garrett Griffith, quarterback number 1 for the Gators. He's been there since 2020 and had some decent success both of those last couple of seasons and going in so far undefeated into 2022.
You know, he's got an arm of fire. He's really great in the pocket. He does very well outside of the pocket too. Looks downfield, can get off of his feet. I like this quarterback. I really like this quarterback. Honestly, I think he's one of the best, if not the best quarterback in this league right now.
And take a look to the interior of your screen. You'll see number 19 lined up way out wide. That's going to be Daniel Knighton. Danny Knighton, former SSN 4SFL MVP in 2020 on that phenomenal Tulsa Gators squad. Look for the ball to be getting to him as we'll have a little motion going the wrong way to start the game for the Tulsa Gators, and the football is going to stay with the Kansas City Panthers. An uncharacteristic error to start the ball game between these two sides.
Yeah, you don't see that very often, not out of these guys. But again, you know, it's, I don't want to say first game jitters, but you're going up against a new team that has, you know, it's going to give you a new look. So when it comes to it, they're going to throw you for a loop here and there.
Well, just as soon as the offense came out on the field for the Tulsa Gators, it'll be the offense for the Kansas City Panthers. And they're going to get great field position to start their opening drive. Going to be located on the Tulsa 12-yard line or so, as looks like what they're going to mark it off. as the Panthers will operate with 4 receivers in the pattern. Snap will get rolled back to the quarterback, who's going the wrong way and just will heave one into the chain gang, looks like over there, Chris. And it'll be no harm, no foul, 2nd and 10.
Let's take a look at that one on a replay again. It's roll out, and that was just a bad snap, a low snap, kind of like what we saw with the Gators, and tries to make something out of nothing, and just nothing doing on that one.
Second and 10, Panthers will substitute. Important to note here at this level of competition, going to be high school rules except for a few modifications. You're down by contact in this league, and you can return punts and kickoffs out of the end zone. And talking with some of the coaching staff for the Gators beforehand, as this one will be completed for the Panthers, a moderate pickup. New this year, players are able to hurdle over other players. Chris, I don't know how confident I would be hurdling over somebody in a football game, but these guys are going to give it a try this season.
Good luck to them, because I don't know how I would take it if you get a nice little boot to the face, boot to the face mask if you're trying to do that. And, of course, that sets up a dangerous precedent where if you're a defender and you see somebody that's hurtling up, all you have to do is lunge up, and that could do some serious damage.
Well, 3rd down for the Panthers. Flag will fly. We'll see what the marker is, but it'll be a touchdown on the field for the Panthers. They will strike first with the excellent field position, but need to check the marker back at about the 8-yard line.
Looked kind of like a hold is what the initial call looks like, but we'll see what head official has to say about it.
Well, they're going to talk to the head officials going over to the Kansas City Panthers huddle, so potentially on the Gators. Imagine if so, that penalty will be declined.
It looks like it is, so the touchdown will stand. Touchdown for the Panthers. Looks like we're getting set up for the point after try.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown, Kansas City.
And the Panthers going to go for 2 early with about 13 minutes or so in the first quarter. And Panthers quarterback looks in zone, but will fall harmlessly to the turf after hitting his intended target in the hands. And after about 13 minutes, 2 minutes of action here in Inola, the Panthers lead 6-0 over the Tulsa Gators. More when we return.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
The College of Liberal Arts at Northeastern State University is innovative, engaging, life-changing, empowering. Choose from degrees in the arts and fine arts, languages, criminal justice, social work, and more.
Well, welcome back. Haven't missed anything. Looks like that penalty, Chris, on the Gators going to get enforced on the kickoff as Kansas City will be kicking off from midfield. This one should more than likely get into the end zone.
One would hope so, but I've noticed a lot of times in semi-pro teams where if they're not doing the point after try, they really don't have much of a kicker. I stand corrected.
Yeah, I would say you'd stand corrected as well. That one soars easily into the end zone for a touchback, and it'll be take 2 for Garrett Griffin, and the Tulsa offense. We've only seen one play from Tulsa, that end-around disaster. You expect, after that turnover on the first possession, a more conservative play calling here for possession number 2.
I expect a little bit more crisp play out of them. Of course, it just set up for a disastrous first play, like you say. So let's watch something that's a little bit more crisp.
Little trips to the near side for Tulsa. And Tulsa just going to go to the ground on 1st and 10. First positive play for the Gators.
like about a gain of 3 on that one.
And we've seen with Gators teams in the past, them the ability to go between the tackles and attack with running backs like Terrell Buchanan and Holmes from a handful of years ago, just being able to go north-south on people and pick up those hard-nosed yards. We'll see if that characteristic is carried over for this 2022 squad.
We'll see. Well, this line, they should be able to get some good holes in this 4-3 setup.
Griffin will pass on second and medium. And across the inside, who else? Danny Knight, and he's got nobody in front of him. He'll take that one into the end zone for 6, barring no flag markers. Nothing there. Touchdown for the Tulsa Gators. Didn't take long for number 19 to get involved, the Swiss Army knife of the 4SFL, Chris.
And here it is, just right up the middle. Nice little seam. There was nobody on the outside protection. It was, just a single man way, way back, and that's all it took for Knighton to get the first 6 points of the game. So 2 plays, 1 horrible, 1 great. So here we are.
Roll of the dice, but the Gators will line up for the point after attempt to take the early lead. Looks like they have a player late getting on to the formation. And I'm going to say that one was no good, as it might have ricocheted off a Gator helmet. Could hear that one all the way up here in the press box.
You certainly could. That was just a low kick, and they were really heavy on that right side on the top of your screen coming in, and they didn't have enough protection for that low kick and just an easy block. So here we are tied up, Kansas City and Tulsa at 6-6.
Well, 6-6 early on. A couple of miscues on both sides. Fumble sets up the Panthers, and just a blown coverage gets Danny Knighton into the end zone on a beautiful throw and catch from Garrett Griffin. As we'll get to see the Tulsa Gator kickoff unit first time today.
Yeah, and if you're watching at home, you can see that the vision here is not great. We are on the east side of the press box. Field's running north and south, so a little hard to get a really good distinguish on your screen right now. And as that sun begins to set, it'll actually improve your watchability on this one. But the press box, Stephen, is on the wrong side.
Yeah, definitely not a good idea to put a press box on the east side when most of your games are played in the afternoon. Guess it doesn't bother you if it's at night or a cloudy day, but here on a beautiful spring day here in eastern Oklahoma, is a bit of a problem for visibility, not just for us here in the press box, but I know there's a couple of Gators coaches up here as well as we get back underway, and the players for the Tulsa sideline have that sun in their face the entire afternoon, as the Panthers will start their second possession a little bit farther away than last time. They'll be on their own 19 as they had no trouble moving the ball from inside the Gator 15 last time out.
Yeah, they had a great sweep play that nobody on the defensive side for the Gators was able to load up on. So easy play for them. I looked for a lot more running plays coming out of the Panthers, and we'll see how Tulsa adjusts to this running game.
Yeah, so far it's just been haymakers from both sides, quick scores, quick hits. See which one can kind of put their imprints on this game, their style of play on this game. Another rollout here for the Panthers, and that one broken up on the back end from the Tulsa defense.
Yeah, great defensive play here. As we see it on the replay, they motion out and have trips to the left on the bottom of your screen, but that leaves one-on-one here, and then great defensive play right there to break it up. Only second down and 10.
And just individual effort to break that one up. Gators known for having great secondary players. Travion Bryant comes to mind.
Yes. Great defensive player there.
Now in the Arena League level of play, just because of how great he played for these Tulsa Gators in 2020. I believe he had some crazy stat where he had an interception almost every game he played. was definitely an impact player on the defensive side of the football for Tulsa, and that one going nowhere for Kansas City. It'll bring up a quick 3rd and 10.
Yeah, nothing doing there. Tulsa doing a great job at containing outside edges there, making sure that those sweeps don't work. Real quick adjustment there. So 3rd and long here for the Kansas City Panthers, and it's so early for them. I expect, everybody's expecting a pass play at this point. Probably something, a 10 and out, or try to do something on the inside with a slant, try to catch the Gators off guard. Looks like some late substitutions also coming in there, Stephen.
We've noticed early as well, Kansas City, when they do pass, like to drop out to the left side of the field, roll out to the left side of the field. As Kansas City going to think things over on this 3rd down and 10, got the timeout in before the delay of game. We'll take one with them. Our score is still 6 apiece with about 11 minutes to go in the first quarter.
This broadcast of the Southern Sports Network is brought to you by Native Ink, providing custom products from athletic apparel, embroidery, and merchandising. Contact Native Ink at nativeinkpromos.com or at 918-693-1806.
The College of Education at Northeastern State University prepares educators, mental health providers, and fitness or health professionals. Choose from degrees in elementary, secondary education, special education, health and human performance, psychology.
Well, welcome back to Inola. Still in a timeout. Kansas City's taking their first one of the half, trying to knock off the rust as they get ready for their MFL season, where they'll play the likes of teams like the Kansas City Bulldogs, one of the better teams in all of semi-pro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no doubt. That's who they lost to in the national championship. And Bulldogs, great recruiting. You got a great area in Kansas City to be able to pull from.
Yeah, David Betancourt, the owner and operator of that team, as Panthers just going to get the ball back to the quarterback, and I believe that'll be a sack. Dropped back for a loss of about 5 on the play. Bring up a 4th and 15.
It'll be a sack by the Gators.
That was a great play right there. Look at that. I mean, just blown offensive on that one for the line, and just easy penetration to bring up that 4th and 15.
Well, and one of the players you mentioned that might be an impact player for Tulsa, Alex Cox, was the one who made the tackle, made the sack, to put the Panthers well behind the sticks.
And that was really the Bears' bread and butter, was always their defense.
Well, a lollipop of a long snap back to the punter, but a penalty marker will fly here on the near side.
I couldn't tell if that was encroachment or somebody just jumped off the line. Yeah, but it's against the Panthers, Stephen.
Well, another 5 yards will put them inside their own 10-yard line, with the punter probably standing in the end zone for this next punt.
And, the Gators are thinking penetration. Just get up through there, block that, maybe get a touchdown.
Well, honestly, the Panthers, with the way that snap went, should be lucky this doesn't go sailing out of the back of the end zone. A better snap this time, and this one will be an end-over-end kick that'll go all of about, 19 yards. And the Tulsa Gators will have excellent field position, an immediate red zone field position when they come back out for offense, and they do not need any help to get rolling deep inside Kansas City territory.
Yeah, this is what I come to expect out of Tulsa right now, is that they're going to sharpen up that bad play call. So that first play, that's probably the only play that we're going to see that's going to be atrocious. And then the rest of it's just going to be tightening up their schemes, coming in and executing it, and just running the game that they need to run today.
Yeah, Tulsa, that was their mulligan for the day as they look to take the lead for the first lead, or for their first lead of the game. Three receivers near side for Tulsa. Griffith will just hands off here. And it'll be a 1st and goal after a strong run from the Gators. Sets it up down inside the 10-yard line, about the 8 of Kansas City.
That's good enough for Gator. First down. Holding penalty.
Oh, but there was a reason there was that much space available for the Gators. A hold will back Tulsa up. And make this a first. And looks like about 20. As Griffiths looks to throw. Quick slant, and Panthers have it measured. But Tulsa will get the penalty yardage back, and we'll get to the 20-yard line of Kansas City.
Yeah, we missed that one just a second ago on that one, trying to take care of a couple of technical issues, but we're back for 2nd and 10.
Tulsa will go with 3 receivers to the far side. And I can't imagine what this penalty will be, Chris.
Give them that extra 5 yards there and make it a little bit easier on yourselves.
2nd and 10 turns into 2nd and 5.
That's good snap count discipline right there. That shows you right there that your line is definitely paying attention. Everybody knows what the snap count is. That makes a quarterback's job that much more easier and a lot more confident.
The Panthers will go with 1 deep safety standing in the end zone. The Gators will just go to the ground on 2nd and medium. It'll be a pickup of 3 and make this a manageable 3rd down for Tulsa.
Yeah, it looks to be a little bit more than 2 yards. Look, about 3.5, maybe 3 5/16 there, Stephen. So again, Tulsa's got so many weapons at their arsenal. They can find somebody in the end zone now, or they can bring it in, just pick up that 1st down. Just depends on their management and their scheme today.
From the pistol on 3rd and short. Griffith will throw out for a screen. And Tulsa just going to come up short. Be a 4th down and about a yard. For the coach here, you keep the offense on the field early on.
Oh, you definitely do. Stack them up hard. Stack them up and, run it in the middle, I think. But that's, of course, hard-nosed, old-school football. These guys play a little bit more finesse. So there's going to be a little bit of a timeout there.
Yeah, timeout from Tulsa, their first of the game, as we take a moment to make sure everything is lined up for Tulsa and for Kansas City. We'll give you 4th and about an inch when we return.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
At Northeastern State University in Muskogee, we take care of our students so they can take care of others. Choose from a variety of healthcare degrees, including physician assistant studies, nursing, occupational therapy, speech-language pathology, and more.
Welcome back out of the timeout. 4th down on the field for Tulsa as they try to take the lead for the first time today. Heavy package in. We've brought in tight end Dylan Luke. And it's just going to be a draw, easy enough for Tulsa. Touchdown, Gators. As the C's parted there, great offensive line effort from the Gators will lead to another 6 points as we take another look at it, Chris.
Yeah, real easy play right here. They're getting up on the line, but that offensive line, look at that. You can drive a Mack truck right through that hole. Super easy. Touchdown, Tulsa.
Tulsa now will try for the extra point. Last one doinked off of a teammate's helmet. See if there's any more luck this go around. And that one is up and through the uprights. Tulsa takes a 13-6 lead with about 4 minutes left in the first quarter. We will step away here in Inola, bring you more Semi-Pro Saturday. Then we
This broadcast of the Southern Sports Network is brought to you by Native Ink, providing custom products from athletic apparel, embroidery, and merchandising. Contact Native Ink at nativeinkpromos.com or at 918-693-1806.
A tradition of educational excellence more than a century in the making continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer.
Welcome back to Inola, Oklahoma, Longhorn Stadium, where the Inola Longhorns will compete in the fall in the 3A ranks of Oklahoma high school athletics.
Well, Stephen, I've got a score update for you between Wichita and the Hornets. It looks like the Hornets are up 25-19 in the second quarter.
That one's a close one, not too far from us here in Inola, just right down the road. A great one brewing, that one to kind of determine maybe who that second-best team or third-best team even in the Four States Football League as we're back underway in Tulsa. Line drive kick easily handled by the Panthers. They'll get great field position to start their third drive at their own 35, as the last one they had never really went forward or had any momentum, as they're going to try and answer the Gator score.
You know, it's an interesting score method that they're doing with the clock today. Not score method, but the timeliness of the clock. Usually you stop, and looks like they're going to keep this thing rolling throughout the game. So I've got some questions about the clock operation with the league, if it's something they implemented or if it's just an operator error.
Yeah, I'm sure Sam Sturgis's inbox will have a few messages in it. But the Panthers will break the huddle to get started once again, try to tie this game up.
You know, Sam does a whole lot. We'll get into that here in just a minute.
And a bad snap again. A quarterback for the Panthers will make something out of nothing and fall forward for about a half yard. And make it second down, and we'll call 9.
Yeah, just a bad snap on that one. We'll get it on the replay. As you can see, he's lined up. Everything looks good. That was just a bad snap that hit the ground, and he's lucky to get that one back.
The quarterback-center exchange. Can't get that right. Not a lot's going to go your way over the course of a season. But again, Kansas City just knocking the rust off today. Around the edge, blitz won't get there. But nearly, quarterback for Kansas City has his man in space. Just left his hands at home, Chris.
Yeah, alligator arms, and you'll see this one on replay. A great play, great design, ball's in the air. Beautiful ball, by the way. And he just couldn't get his hands on it.
Yeah, he gets his hands on that one. I think that is a gift-wrapped 6 points for Kansas City. But instead, it'll be a 3rd down and 9 as the Panthers go back to the drawing board again.
Yeah, again, this is their first outing, so you're going to have a whole lot of rust to get prepared for their season coming up soon. And those are the kind of things that you definitely want to see tightened up.
Kansas City making the drive down. Definitely a challenge for your first game, especially at the semi-pro level, to be on the road and not even a close road game, as this play doesn't look like it's got any momentum from the start, and Kansas City quarterback will just fight for something, anything at all. Gets back to the boundary, and looks like they'll give him another yard. So it's got 2 yards of rushing on this possession, but not enough to get a first down clearly. As
4th and forever here, and he's backed up all the way to Kansas right now, and it looks like they're trying to call for the clock to be started. In a time where it should have kept going, it stopped, and the official's trying to get his attention, but it looks like that's not going to happen.
We'll see if Kansas City punts or tries to run a play out of it. It'll be a kick quick. And
that was ugly.
Well, that's the beauty of semi-pro.
Yes, it is. We'll get at that one on replay again. That was just penetration up the defensive line here.
Don't think I've ever seen a punt get returned after it gets kicked. Not enough postage returned to sender.
Definitely not.
This will be the second consecutive drive Tulsa will have in Panther territory as they're going to look to extend their lead. Haven't had any trouble in that first play of the game on the offensive side of the football.
No, they really haven't. And again, that was just a game jitter that the Panthers were able to take advantage of, and they really took full advantage, and they needed it because now it looks like the tide has turned quite a bit in the direction for Tulsa.
Yeah, it might be one of those situations. It was nice that we spotted just 6 points, but now we're going to play for real as Griffin will empty the backfield. He'll look again for the end zone, and another touchdown on a rope. Garrett Griffin, how do you do? As the dance line breaks out, it's now 19-6 with a minute and a half to go in the first quarter. Things getting late early for the Kansas City Panthers as Garrett Griffith in his bag early.
That had attitude written all over it. This play call, the execution, balls in the air, beautifully found, easy 6 points right there.
Tulsa out for another extra point, but a beautiful throw and catch from Garrett Griffin, he already has 2 on the day. This one up, and this one good. It's 20-6 in the blink of an eye. Don't go anywhere here in Inola as we step away as Tulsa commanding early on.
Hey, Dean Blandino here. And guess what? Football season is right around the corner. And to watch the best live broadcasts in high school sports in Northeast Oklahoma, download the Southern Sports Network app. And check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I just did. Give them a like. It's the best broadcast in high school sports, and not just that area, in the country. Check them out.
Welcome back as the sun continues to dip down here in eastern Oklahoma in the 918. Beautiful day for football, Chris. There's sometimes in the past I remember working some semi-pro football games where it's been raining sideways in early April, but not the case today. A beautiful football day.
Oh, we'll never forget 2019. That was a brutal storm.
Yeah, Northwest Arkansas battle and Arkansas Hawks at the Elkins High School in Northwest Arkansas at their football stadium. Yeah, raining sideways. There's about, 5 yards of combined offense in the whole game.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to throw whenever the wind is coming at you 30 miles an hour and there's a nice heavy mist to go along with it, too. And then it got really, really heavy, And thank goodness they were playing on turf because if that was a natural field, it would have been Mud Bowl City. It
might have been a lake with as much rain that was coming down. Might have had to canoe for a first down.
No doubt.
But Kansas City will get the ball again for another possession. Chris, it's starting to get a little out of hand for the Panthers. They haven't been able to get anything going other than that one drive down inside the Tulsa 15-yard line. If you're the coach for the Kansas City Panthers, what are you just trying to get accomplished on this drive, maybe to get some confidence back on the offensive side of the football?
Short, easy plays. Anything to get you some positive yards. Anything at this point.
Well, Panthers will go to the ground and will be met by pretty much the entire Tulsa defensive line, back to the original line of scrimmage at the 25, as even the easy plays aren't going anywhere for the Panthers.
Yeah, the Panthers line wasn't even able to stop 4. Honestly, I can tell you, if the Gators just wanted to drop 3, they probably could. You just want to play 3 on the line, they probably could at this point.
Well, it looks like Kansas City not going to elect to let the clock run out for the first quarter and try and get one more play in. And a prayer that will be over the head of everybody, the receiver there for Kansas City, wanted a pass interference called, but that ball was about 2 times as high as he is.
Yeah, he wasn't anywhere to really pull anything. We saw that the back judge saw the whole thing, and no, there was no penalty. Good no call there.
Yeah, honestly, the back judge might have been in the best position to catch that football.
Yeah.
As we have a lonely 1.9 seconds left in quarter one. 3rd and 10 for Kansas City.
Yeah, and for Kansas City, you're 3rd and long. If you're the coach, maybe throw something a little bit to the outside. It's got to be quick, though. You got to let your guy get a little bit of room, because this Gator defense is just too fast.
Yeah, Tulsa going to stack the box. Blitz is on its way. That'll be the last play. A flag will come in. Imagine that'll be a hold as Kansas City's quarterback will do enough to get a first down, and that across his own 40-yard line. First positive play they've had in some time. But we'll check that marker. Came in right in the middle of that offensive line. Imagine that'll be a hold, Chris.
I would imagine so, because there wasn't any movement on the defensive line before the ball was snapped. And there it is.
And there'll be the signal. All that positive yardage wiped away with a hold. We'll see if they end the first quarter, since there was a offensive penalty.
Well, in my professional opinion, that's a hold. It should be
the end of the quarter.
End of the quarter. Now, you can't end the quarter on a defensive play, and he's rolling it right there. And that should be the end of the quarter, Stephen.
It should be.
But this is the beauty of semi-pro. Sometimes you get something that's a little off.
A 5th down situation, maybe.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of those.
It'll be 3rd down again.
It looks like they're going to give him a play with no.
You're going to give him an untimed down?
No, it looks like they're resetting for the second quarter, so that was the end of the quarter, but it looks like they're going right back. They have to reset everything, so I think the clock operator got a little mistaken of what they're going to do. Honestly, I think the official got a little bit of a mistake of what they were doing too, but here we go. Beauty of semi-pro. Going to put 1 second back on the clock there.
Interesting.
Very.
Because it should be the end of quarter and flip sides, but that's not the case in Inola. Another beautiful throw from the Kansas City quarterback. That one nearly intercepted, and all that work just to be 4th down.
And that is the official end of the quarter, Stephen.
So what would have happened? I'm curious if they, had scored a touchdown on that play. I guess you kick the extra point, no time runs off. That's a very interesting way to officiate, but it should be the end of the quarter, we believe. That'll be the official end of the first quarter.
Yep, there we go.
As we get the walk to the other side of the field. Our score after 1 quarter and an untimed down, 20-6. The Tulsa Gators lead. We will step away and bring you quarter number 2 when we return.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
Well, welcome back to Inola. We get the second quarter underway. We'll see if the Panthers will have any success on this punt. It's been an issue. Special teams, you always joke when we do these games, special teams are special in semi-pro. And a flag before we even get going. I wonder if this will be an untimed down as well.
Oh, well, it'll be very special, though. I'm pretty sure that League Commissioner Sam Sturgis will be interested in seeing some of the officiating and say, all right, well, we probably need to tighten this up a little bit more.
Yeah, the league meeting next week might be a little interesting.
Well, that one's going against the Panthers again, so that's going to bring up 4th down and 20, Stephen.
Yeah, they might be taking this next step from the Hornets Skyhawks game, the direction that they are headed. Even though it's 4th down, if they wanted to get a first down, they'd have to get to their own 35-yard line, so a 20-yard pickup.
Quite a bit.
Have doubled the sticks. That one hopped back to the punter. This is actually a really good punt. We'll get past the first down marker. Danny Knighton will be able to get underneath it. He's looking for an alley down the way. A flag will come in. Another flag will come in. Danny will get into the end zone, but that one's going to probably come back. I imagine a legal hit crackback block somewhere along the lines, or a block in the back, as 2 flags come flying in on that punt return.
Double the flags, double the fun today, it looks like. Hey, that's one thing that the officials have done right, is they've called a clean game, making sure that the penalties on both sides are pretty fair and level. So outside of the untimed down, everything else looks pretty good.
We'll need to check the penalty marker. It's more than likely going to be on the Gators. Normally is on a punt return.
Yep. Another score update. Still 25-19 Hornets in that game. It's going to be a block in the back against the Gators. It's going to negate that touchdown. And
Crackback block against the receiving team.
And this will be the worst field position since the opening kickoff for Tulsa, but that obviously hasn't hindered the Gators, as again they'll start in Kansas City Panther territory. As already seen some hands on hips for the Panthers defense.
Yeah, the speed on the Gators offense and defense is really killing.
And I imagine, just looking at the 2 sidelines, that's a well-known fact in semi-pro. It's better to play somebody at home, as the Panthers nearly had running back for Tulsa wrapped up in the backfield, but he'll squirt out for about 4 or 5 yards. I believe that's Terrell Buchanan on the rush, a great running back in semi-pro football here in the 4SFL. But with semi-pro football having to travel as far, if you're going down from Kansas City to basically the Tulsa metropolitan area, not a lot of travel, or a lot of players are going to be able to make that drive. It's, bivocational. These guys are, for lack of a better term, weekend warriors playing this sport, not an organized travel pattern.
No, a lot of the times they're traveling by themselves. Most of them don't have buses, so sometimes it's hard to get those numbers together, especially with gas prices high they are.
Another run, be a first down and more for the Tulsa Gators. Strong run from Terrell Buchanan. That looks like his 2020 form, just running over people like a Mack truck on the highway.
Yeah, there it is right there. And you can see this. Just brutal hits. And just kind of drawn over those guys and just pushing his own guy to get him out of the way.
Yeah, Garrett Griffin doesn't even have to throw the football when you have a running back like Terrell Buchanan in the backfield. That's a compliment. Be 1st and 10 on the Panther 20-yard line. Back in the red zone are the Gators. It's familiar territory for them this Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a gorgeous day today. But getting back to that Jim Brown run, wow.
Well, Dylan Luke has checked into the game at tight end for Tulsa, and we'll have a stoppage, a delay of game, as Tulsa takes too long. Make it a 1st and 15 for the home team. And a pretty decent turnout as well for Tulsa. In the fans in the stands, they've always been one of the better attended teams in the league.
Yeah, they certainly have hold the league record as far as attendance at 700 for the game.
Griffith the pass. Dylan Luke open across the middle. He's looking for some green grass. And he'll get down to near the first down marker, be about 3 yards short. But the tight end sneaking out to pick up a handful of yards on 1st and 15.
Smart call underneath. You pick up that many yards, hey, any day and twice on Sunday, as I say.
Dylan Luke, a familiar name to the semi-pro game, been a stalwart at tight end, all-star tight end for many years in the 4-state football league.
You know, he yelled up here today to make sure that we got his name right, so we're going to call him Lou Shea for the rest of the day.
That's a good tight end last name, more than Luke. But it'll be a rush for the Gators, enough for a first down. It'll be, we'll see. Actually, it looks like they might have spotted a little short. Looked like he might have got it on the field, but the official's not going to give him the 10-yard line. Be fourth down. And a timeout from the Panthers. Looks like they didn't have the right personnel group on the field. So they want to think things over, make sure that they adjust correctly. For this fourth down play, Gators, Chris, have had whatever they've wanted, either in the air or on the ground on this drive, and honestly all the other drives except for the very first one. Where do you go if you're the head coach calling the plays?
Anywhere you want to. You know, you can call an RPO to give you the options. You can call some really short routes if you wanted to, or you can set up these routes to make it clearing open in the seam like we saw in the first play and the second drive. You know, they've got all the weapons to do whatever they want to. They just have to make sure that they execute whatever they do. That's all they have to do.
And, you know, I'm looking down here at this Gator sideline, and you see Kevin Cox down here around about the 15-yard line, all kind of over by himself. Hasn't really transitioned into any sort of coaching position yet for Tulsa. He will as the season progresses, I'm sure. But for him, you know, seeing what this offense and defense can do so far, what do you think he's taking in on today's action?
You know, I think he's just kind of evaluating, seeing where, you know, he's going to be best placed at. I can also see him that taking a look at the offense and seeing what they're going to do and contributing.
The Gators going to go to the ground and pick up a first down. Easy peasy there. It'll be Isaiah Chapman, I believe, on the rush, number 16 for the home team. Picks up the first down, makes it first and goal.
Yeah, and as far as Kevin Cox is concerned, honestly, I think that for him to make the drive up here, for him to do this, it's going to have to be well worth it. So in my opinion, knowing him in the capacity that I do, they're looking to form not only just a super team, but a super coaching staff for the super team too.
Yeah, you know, head coach Trenton Kallenberger, no slouch for the Tulsa Gators, has been with the coaching staff for a handful of seasons now. As Griffith looks in zone, he'll get it. Touchdown for the Gators as they continue to extend their lead to 20 points. Barring the extra point to make it 21, but it's been all Tulsa after that bizarre misstep as we see Griffin sling that thing to the front corner of the end zone.
I love that route call. So you're taking a guy that's up high, and he's just kind of pulling that in, and you got somebody that's going about, what, a 5 and out? Nobody's there. Nobody's there. So great play call. I love it.
Yeah, if you're the receiver there, you imagine, oh, somebody's going to hit me, right? Surely somebody's going to hit me. Nope, I'll just go right on the end zone then. Fine, that's okay.
I'll take it. Another late substitution on special teams. That's one thing that they're going to have to tighten up on.
Maybe that's what they're bringing Kevin in for, special teams coordinator.
Oh, sure.
Well, after the early missed point after, the next three have been all but true for the Tulsa Gators. They extend their lead 27-6. This one getting ugly in the early part of the second quarter. We'll bring you more action when we come back.
For the taste of friends, family, and backyard barbecues, Bentonville Brewing Company. Family owned, family operated, family friendly. Pick up a 6-pack of your favorite IPA, porter, sours, or any one of the delicious flavors Bentonville Brewing has to offer. Or enjoy a cold one on tap at your favorite restaurant. Bentonville Brewing Company. Quality. Consistency. Assume your natural state. Bentonville Brewing Company, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Well, welcome back. Inola, Oklahoma, the site for today's contest. Yeah, you almost want to call it a preseason game just because of the Kansas City Panthers. Season hasn't started yet for them, but on the other side of the coin, the Tulsa Gators, it is a game that counts for them, counts towards their record, and they are definitely playing like it so far. A 21-point lead after trailing 6-0 on a mistake early on. Chris, you know, we talked about in the open some of the great teams in four-state football league history in this sort of era that we're in. Pretty much call it, post-COVID. Is that one out of bounds? It'll be a procedure and give the Panthers a good open-to-field position, but kind of in the pantheon of great teams we've seen in the 4SFL. What do you think the potential for this year's Gators squad could be?
They are the masters of their own destiny, honestly. They've got the firepower, great talent on the squad. They got some good play callers, great coaching staff as well. They're pretty well funded. I don't see them, unless something catastrophic that we don't know about, I just don't see them blowing it this year, honestly. I think they get over the hump.
Yeah, probably the best team that they put on the field, you would argue maybe that 2020 season where their lone loss came in dubious circumstances in Oklahoma City to the Bears in the regular season, and then had to go back out there for the championship game.
Yeah, if I honestly believe if that game was played in Tulsa, they probably would have won. They just had that kind of momentum.
A good avoidance from the quarterback for the Panthers. He'll pick up a first down, and this one will stand. No penalty flags will fly. Be a 1st and 10 on the other side. And there's nobody open downfield. Panthers quarterback just going to call his own number, and he'll get near midfield. Actually, looks like they'll give the Panthers midfield as the sun sinking into that early spring sky. It's April.
Yes. Almost April Fool's Day on March 31st whenever we were in northwest Arkansas snowing.
Yep. You know what they say, March comes in like a lamb and leaves like a lion. And actually, in a matter of a handful of days, had tornadic weather as another deep bomb going the other way. That one will be picked off. Tulsa Gator football. Great throw. Better catch there from the defensive back for the Gators. Is one step forward, 2 steps back for Kansas City. Put that one on your highlight film.
Beautiful. I mean, very well tracked and executed. There we go. So that's the firepower that I'm talking about with Tulsa. And they've always had a great defensive backfield. Always have. Ever since the conception of the team itself, whenever Gary Joyce created the Gators several years ago, they've just continued that defensive lineage. And another thing that, I'm seeing Kevin Cox on the field, too, kind of just evaluating, who's doing what and are they executing. So this team can only get better.
Which is scary. If you're the rest of the 4SFL, that's a scary proposition.
They're looking for a national championship.
Yeah, they've decided, it's fun and all playing in the 4SFL, but we want something a little bit greater, something down in the Citrus State. Is Griffin going to uncork one here? Caught on the other side of the field. Spencer Howard gets underneath that one, and we have an injured Panther on the field, but a great throw from Garrett Griffin. Another great catch from the receiving corps for Tulsa. Uncorks one. It'll be 1st and 10 at the Panther 27-yard line as they tend to the injured Kansas City Panther. We will step away while he receives some treatment. Hopefully nothing too serious. We'll return after these messages.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is, there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
Welcome back. The injured Panther is going to leave the field under his own power. That's good to see. Nothing too serious. As we mentioned earlier, these aren't professional football players. They are out here for the love of the game, trying to get some tape to maybe play at the next rung up the ladder, grab that brass ring and move up to the arena level of competition. And there's been some players from this Tulsa team that have done such the thing. Travian Bryant, we mentioned earlier, definitely comes to mind as he's bounced around in the arena leagues from the Omaha Beef to a handful of other teams. Surprisingly, no arena team currently resides in Tulsa,
which is a crying shame because Tulsa's had a great lineage of arena teams that a couple have come and gone. Some of them will remember way back in the day. I want to say the early 2000s. Had a great team there that relocated to San Antonio, and then the AFL just kind of took a tank. After some recession there and a great crash.
Out of the injury timeout, we'll play on. Griffin going to have to make a decision. Beautiful little spin move. We'll pick him up 5 or so. Nearly got chased down from behind as the Panthers are showing some fight, even though they're down 21 in the second quarter, trying to get better.
Yeah, you certainly have. And speaking of arena, the gentleman that started this team here, Gary Joyce, he was actually one of the coaches on the second arena team in Tulsa called the Tulsa Defenders.
Interesting bit of trivia there. That connection to that next level that the Tulsa Gators have that is so deep. Be a 1st and 10 on the field. As again, this drive shows no sign of stopping for Tulsa.
Getting back to Gary Joyce, actually, he started this team. Had another semi-pro team out here. That was really one of the better ones that he put together, the Monarchs. But now he's the head coach of Chelsea High School, just up the road from here, to a school that's looking to improve.
Griffith looks end zone, got it again. Give him 3 passing touchdowns on the day. It's coming at ease for QB1 in gray for the home side. That'll extend the lead 33-6. As when you score a lot of points, I imagine you do have to have your touchdown celebrations in order.
You have to. I mean, great choreograph and very interesting how they did that one. But here we are, 33-6, and we haven't even we're just to the halfway point of the second quarter.
Yeah, this one's starting to look like Apollo Creed versus Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. Throw the towel.
Oof. It was too late for him. So sorry about Apollo.
Kick is up, and that one right into the chest of a Panther.
I thought there was a little bit of offsides myself, but they decided not to call that one.
Well, the score will remain 33-6 here in Inola. 27-point advantage for the undefeated Tulsa Gators. We will pause more of the second quarter when we come back.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
The College of Liberal Arts at Northeastern State University is innovative, engaging, life-changing, empowering. Choose from degrees in the arts and fine arts, languages, criminal justice, social work, and more.
Our score, a 27-point margin for the Gators. Looked a little shaky early on, but Tulsa has settled in to be the team that we thought that they would be today. Uncorking a 27-point run, unanswered, mind you. Let's make this a 33-6 game. The clock will run once they get that magic 35-point advantage. As we get back underway. And the kick going to be muffed, but Panthers able to hold on to it right at their own 25-yard line. Will be the end of their forward progress. And another possession for the Kansas City Panthers.
After that first possession where I don't want to say they got lucky, they just had all stars aligned for them to be able to get the ball, make the sweep, get the touchdown, start it off early in the game, but haven't done a single thing ever since.
The momentum was completely on their side to start the ball game, and then nothing.
Nothing. So, again, first game, This Kansas City team. The Panthers are actually the oldest Kansas City team to still exist in that area. So, yes, they are the oldest. Unfortunately, they're not the best, but they still have a lot of lineage to them. They still have a lot of positivities to come out of this game, and they have an opportunity to really tighten things up. So it's really up to them how they're going to proceed with this one.
Yeah, and a flag will come in. This Panther team, well, yes, I'm sure you would like to compete against a team of the caliber of the Tulsa Gators. It's okay because this doesn't count against you for your season. This just is a get-ready game to show you what, some other competition in some other leagues. And, it's funny you mentioned oldest team in Kansas City. The 4SFL even had teams at one point in time that were in Kansas City as well. I used to go up to that part of the state of Missouri. Teams like the Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens. They've come and gone, unfortunately, but the Bird Gang is no longer.
Panthers going the wrong way here, and a bone-crushing tackle there from Alex Cox coming in.
He definitely finished that one off. He made sure that he wrapped up, got him to the ground. There we go with the second down, and looks to be 15, honestly. So 10 yards from that one in the wrong formation, or wrong direction. So they're headed towards Texas now.
Yeah, back down towards the Lone Star State. Speaking of Lone Star State, we will be in the Lone Star State here at the end of the month.
That's right.
Back at the USA Pickleball Mid-South Diamond Amateur Tournament, I believe is the new name of it. It's rebranded a little bit differently than last year, but it'll be a great 4-day experience of pickleball in the Dallas metropolitan area.
And that's a fun sport. I started playing it a couple months ago, and my knees don't like it, but the rest of my body does. It's kind of fun.
Well, your knees probably like it a little bit more than tennis, as Kansas City's quarterback just going to have to make a decision. That one against the grain, nearly completed at their own 20-yard line, but, again, just bounced off a set of hands.
Yeah. Again, you got to make sure that you execute those catches. You got to make sure you secure it. And a lot of these guys are hearing footsteps, and they're kind of doing the number where they're clinching in and not completing the pass first. So they're afraid of getting hit. So the one thing that you have to do is you have to practice. You have to get out the practice field. You got to take those hits before you catch the ball or right after you catch the ball, and that'll get you ready to go.
As it stands, 3rd and 15.
Yeah, and speaking of pickleball, another great time that we're going to have there. Everybody really needs to watch this one. It's going to be 4 days of fun. It's going to be some long broadcast, and we might go hoarse, but let me tell you, the competition on that, oh my goodness. I've seen 80-year-olds out there playing like teenagers.
Well, pressure will come. Quarterback for Kansas City evades, still looking downfield. He'll throw it. Ill-advised throw. That one going to be unsurprisingly picked off. As another turnover for the Gator defense.
Here's on the replay again. Ill-advised, like you say. He was just trying to make something out of nothing. Unfortunately, you can't throw to a crowd. I mean, that's just not going to happen very well.
Yeah, talk about forcing a throw. Not a wise decision. You can't get all 27 points back at once.
No.
As Tulsa will get the football back.
Well, the good news is if Tulsa scores this one and they go into halftime, that means that we're going to have a running clock. That means I don't have to keep continuing trying to adjust my clock to make sure it's fitting right in this one. And I could just let the thing go and we just continue on and get done with the game and head on back to what do you got going on tonight, Stephen?
I got to go getting back to Northwest Arkansas, have in master's school, have a comprehensive exam on Monday that I need to keep studying for, make sure to pass, because if I don't get to graduate. But Tulsa back out on the attack, a great jet sweep pretty much there. We'll pick up another first down for the Tulsa Gators as the machine continues to run at a high level in Inola.
Yeah, school's back in, like you say, and let me tell you, he's putting on a clinic of how to do those outside sweeps and getting space, picking up those first downs.
Yeah, school is in session out on the gridiron tonight. free lessons from the Tulsa Gators on how to run an offense. Be interesting to see at what point this team calls off the dogs a little bit and puts in the backups. As Griffin, nothing there on the read option. Used to Stephen Hamilton, the backup quarterback here in Tulsa. It'd be interesting to see who the new backup is for the Gators.
We should find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm thinking third quarter. Yeah, something like that.
Something to that nature. Might even be Danny Knight. And of course, last season with the Stars, he played quarterback most of that season. Kind of the Swiss Army knife utility player of this league.
He certainly is.
Griffin going to drop back again. Will evade the pressure. Keeps his eyes down the field, and that one to his receiver. Receiver just lets him down with the drop. And it'll be a 3rd and 10, a rare 3rd and long for Tulsa. I haven't seen a lot of these in this game.
No, you really haven't. But again, he was looking for something that was a little bit further downfield, wasn't going to get it, and threw the ball to the receiver, but it was just a little bit late, so it was projected. And that's what you don't want to do because as a defender, if you're a good defender, you're going to read that, you're going to pick that off.
And again, a great cadence gets the undisciplined Panthers to jump, and a free 5 yards will be coming Tulsa's way.
Yep. And, again, great snap count awareness. That offensive line, I got to say, the offensive line today has done lights out. They have knocked it out of the park today, opening up holes, making sure that the pass blocking is there.
Griffin looking end zone on the post. Almost had his intended target just a little too tall. Or that one would have been another 6 points for Tulsa.
Yeah, it looks like he took his eyes off the ball. And it's not like he turned in the direction of the sun. I just think he just dropped it there.
Offense going to stay out on the field as it would be a, I believe, 35-yard field goal or so from where they stand. So probably not kicking that. At this level of competition. Tulsa, though, did have a kicker in Skylar Seagraves in the past
yes.
that could drill some great place kicks.
Yeah, he was a great kicker.
Griffin looking end zone again, and it'll be a turnover on downs. Looks like Tulsa was trying to get maybe a PI call in the end zone, but that will be the end of that drive. And
yeah, it looks like some feet got tangled, but field judge disagreed. Doesn't look like he's going to throw it. No DPI.
Kansas City has a chance to maybe get something before the halftime locker room with about 50 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, it's looking ugly, But again, for Tulsa now, you can just sit back and you can call some plays that you normally wouldn't. You can look at some situations now. You can play situational ball a little bit more loosely and try some things that you normally wouldn't do for maybe down the road. Get something out of the toolbox, be creative. It comes back later in the season.
Yeah, just put some stuff on tape so that way other teams have to prepare for it.
Yeah.
QB for Kansas City. Another interception. That one, the defensive back basically was playing receiver there. That's a second or third one, for that same defensive back. Hard to get a number here with the sun coming in and those dark numerals on the jersey. I believe it's number 31 in the program. Nick Steen should have a handful of interceptions on the day. I think his day is done. He's going to get the turnover belt down on the sideline. Love the props here for the Gators. That's one of the things you get with an organization, it's kind of put together like they are. Get that extra attention to detail that might not everyone will get.
Exactly. And it's exciting for these guys, You get 4 turnovers, 3 turnovers, even 2 turnovers in a game. That's pretty special. But I'm telling you, the Panthers, that quarterback's going to have to quit projecting. He's going to have to quit throwing into dangerous situations. Otherwise, he's going to get He's going to have a bat all day long. That's all I got to say, Stephen.
It's not been a great first half. So far, had the touchdown early on, but it's been all negative plays to conclude these drives for the Kansas City Panthers, as Tulsa has 50 yards in between them, 50 yards in about 18 seconds.
Well, it looks like they're trying to reset the clock here.
Maybe put some time back on.
Yeah, but
it looks like it'll stay for the moment at 18, as the fire department has made a appearance here in Inola. Looks like there's a fire vehicle over across the way, but a quick hitter for Tulsa. He'll get out to,
and it's going to be a timeout.
Out to the 35-yard line, so a 15-yard pickup on that first play. The last timeout, or excuse me, Tulsa has one more timeout for this half.
I have to adjust the clock here. I think the clock operator is a little off today. He's been rolling the clock whenever he should have stopped it, and vice versa. So we'll try to adjust as best as we can to it. So it looks like about
4.5, 5 seconds.
Yeah, 4.6, so we'll keep it as 5 there. They'll give him one more play to get down the field. Now, question is, we know it's going to be a pass play. Question is it going to Danny Knighton?
Yeah.
Or is it going to somebody else?
Danny Knighton. Why would you throw it to anybody else?
Well, because you've got two other great receivers, too.
True.
So if he's covered up on a double play, that's just going to open up for somebody up in the seam.
But do you imagine Danny Knighton's covered in this or double covered in this situation?
Yeah, well, he's got agilities. So if you can do a post corner outside, yep.
That's how they scored on the first one to Danny. I wouldn't imagine they go back to it here.
Well, as the sun's starting to set, we can actually see the players a little bit better here on our
they might need to turn the lights on here soon. Those shadows are starting to get long across the Longhorn logo here in Inola.
And for us, that Longhorn logo is it's upside down. It should be the other side, would it?
Yeah, definitely horns down. Well, Griffin will have one more attempt at it. He's got the arm for the end zone, looking that way. Touchdown, Tulsa Gators. You were right, Chris. It was not Danny Knighton, but nonetheless, it'll be a touchdown to close the half off. Great throw, great catch there. I believe that was Marcel Miller, 30 in your program. Drops that one in the bucket. Griffin has 4 on the day.
Marcel Miller was one of the MVPs for the PAFA League a few years back, so he was hot hands today. Let's see, are we going to get 40? This would definitely make a nice little rolling clock here in the second half for us.
It would make it a 34-point game. It is up. And the point after is through, as both teams will head to the halftime locker room. Our score in Inola, the Gators have a commanding 40-6 point lead over the Kansas City Panthers. We'll bring you the second half of action after we have these messages.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is, there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
In 1851, the Cherokee ignited the lamp of learning in the wilderness. For more than a century, this has been a gathering place, where minds are developed and lifelong relationships are made, where dreams find direction. The lamp burns brightly still at Northeastern State University.
Having a body is tough. Exercising, sports, work, and life itself can leave you feeling tense at any age. The Trainer's Table is here for you. No appointments or memberships needed because you can't always plan ahead for when you're physically sore. The Trainer's Table. Let us stretch you.
The College of Liberal Arts at Northeastern State University is innovative, engaging, life-changing, empowering. Choose from undergraduate and graduate degrees in the arts and fine arts, languages, criminal justice, social work, and more. Be inspired at Northeastern State University.
Hi, Peyton Hillis here for Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing. I've scored for the Hogs and for the NFL, but now my whole family has scored big finding this amazing store. Ozark Sportsman has everything a sportsman wants. The best firearm selection and gun safe choices anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. And a 15-lane indoor range and so much more. Ozark Outpost Clothing has all the hot boutique brands for women. And hey guys, our favorite brands also. Score big savings on top brands and follow me to Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our in-demand undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
Some might say I'm an ideas guy. I'd like to think of myself more as a doer. I like to make things happen, both for myself and for the people my businesses serve. Signature Bank has been crucial in that for me. From starting my moving businesses, to expanding into mobile minis, all the way to our current office and warehouse space. Signature has advised and supported me every step of the way.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
Hello everyone, I'm Bob Stoops. I'd like to introduce you to Southern Sports Network as they will broadcast high school sports for Catoosa, Chickasaw, Bayan, Inola, and Green Forest. Download the SSN app and like them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Boomer Sooner to everybody.
At Northeastern State University in Muskogee, we take care of our students so they can take care of others. Choose from a variety of healthcare degrees, including physician assistant studies, nursing, occupational therapy, speech language pathology, and more.
Well, welcome back here out of the halftime intermission in Inola, Oklahoma for today's Saturday semi-pro Saturday, on the Southern Sports Network. It's been all Tulsa Gators in the first half, 40-6 the score at the halftime intermission. I'm Stephen Blackson, and still alongside me, Chris Dotson. Chris, it's been all Gators in the first half. We went down during the halftime intermission, talked with a few of the coaches and the players, et cetera, and the morale and the feeling is strong behind this team. Obviously, the scoreboard reflects that, but I think they have a little bit of a confidence that maybe this side hasn't had maybe since that first season in 2020 when they thought they could go all the way to a championship run. Oh, absolutely. First and foremost, look at this beautiful Oklahoma sunset right now. I mean, now that it's kind of dirting down a little bit, it's a little bit easier on our eyes, but you're right. This is a Tulsa Gators team outside of play number one has been able to come in and control this game with tempo, play calling, and execution. And it all started with pass on second and medium. And across the inside, who else? Danny Knight, and he's got nobody in front of him. And next thing you know, it's a touchdown. So that play started the whole thing, and offensively, there's only been one stop. And that was really due to their own. It was just they chose to, basically.
Yeah, exactly. They gave them a little bit here and there. And then, some more, highlight reel going on here that we got into it as well. Defensively has been another ball game right here where their defensive backs have been on point. Not only making great plays like that one, but also some interceptions here too. Yeah, they've had a handful of interceptions just in the second quarter alone. Keeping the Panther offense from really stringing anything together. They've had issues in other places, as you see they're getting going this first half. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments they can make, if anything, out of this locker room the Kansas City Panthers can in that regard, just because of how far down they are and how out of sorts they've played this first half. Yeah, and for Kansas City, I mean, defensively, a lot of these guys that are on the line, they're playing both ways. And talking to Tulsa at the halftime, they're winded. I mean, you could see it after the first quarter. They were putting their hands on their hips. They're just already windblown from this one. So at this point, I predict we're going to see a really fast second half, where we should, because it should be just a running clock anyway at this point. Well, it looks like everybody's lined up to get the second half underway as the sun begins to dip below the horizon here in Inola. They're going to need to turn the lights on, I would imagine, here pretty soon before sunset. They don't want to play football in the dark. As we're back underway, and just going to fall on it there. Kind of a microcosm of how the Panthers' evening has gone, as nothing going on the opening kickoff for the second half. And it's another score update right now. Looks like Joplin is up 8-0 in the second quarter. So with that, we're going to check up some other score updates here. And it looks like still the same score. Everybody's kind of asking, what the final score was right now. And it looks to be about the same as what it was before, 24-19. 24-19 in that Hornets-Skyhawks game. Interesting there. Of course, Tulsa next week will go up the road to play Joplin. Excuse me, I had that wrong. 37-19. And it looks like the great interception on the field. Sorry to cut you off there, Chris, but a beautiful diving interception for the Tulsa Gators to get going here in the second half. Wow. Here I am just blabbing, trying to get some scores in, and look at that. Wow, just a grab snag, and there you are. 1st and 10 for the Gators. Well, it'll be interesting if Garrett Griffith will go out as QB1 to start the second half. Normally, you see that ball thrown behind a receiver, and they can't hardly ever bring it down, but throwing a ball behind a defensive back, great hands, might want to try him out on the offensive side of the football. No kidding. Wow, what an amazing catch. I'm a little confused now. It should be a running clock. We might have to talk that scoreboard off. Well, it is only 34 points. Oh, okay. So we're going to give them one more point. On a technicality. All right. On a technicality, I guess it is not a running clock, but I don't think we'll have to wait very long, Chris. I don't suppose so.
There's about 20 yards says otherwise. Might get it here on this first play from scrimmage. Kendall Buchanan keeps his legs churning, gets across the 20 of the Panthers down to the 19-yard line, and will make a second down and about 7.
But as I was saying, 37-19, Hornets won that game. Final score there. Joplin's up 8-0 in the second half, or second quarter. So it's kind of shaping up to where you've got Tulsa at number 1, you got the Hornets at number 2, the Crusaders at number 3, and then, 4, 5, and 6, you just kind of go down the line.
Be interesting to see where the Generals slot in, and that ball behind the intended target. Good throw, just couldn't hit his receiver in stride. It'll bring up a quick 3rd down and 7. As the sun sinking low, lights have kicked on here, and I know that's good. Player safety and all that.
Kind of important,
Well, looking at those helmets for Tulsa, they might be glow in the dark, so I think they might be okay for a couple of minutes.
That is some serious greenage going on right there.
It's interesting the uniforms, how they change over the years. I remember when we first started covering the Gators in 2020, they had an all-black ensemble, black helmet, black jersey, black pants. Interesting progression as Griffith going to look down the field on a quick hitter. That'll be a touchdown as into the end zone goes Spencer Howard. We'll credit that one more work for Spencer than for Garrett as he makes a couple of Panther defenders look silly, and that'll be a 46-6 advantage, and that's the magical 35-point threshold that our own Chris Dotson wanted. But take another look at it, Chris, and Howard just goes out there and makes a elite play at his position.
It was a little bit of whoop, a little bit of whop, and then right in and it goes.
Get set for another point after try. Didn't take long, like we mentioned, for Tulsa to get into the end zone. Only about a minute into this second half. His extra point is up and good. 47-6, the advantage as Tulsa continues its domination here in the second half. We'll pause after this.
This broadcast of the Southern Sports Network is brought to you by Native Ink, providing custom products from athletic apparel, embroidery, and merchandising. Contact Native Ink at nativeinkpromos.com or at 918-693-1806.
The College of Education at Northeastern State University prepares educators, mental health providers, and fitness or health professionals. Choose from degrees in elementary, secondary education, special education, health and human performance, psychology.
As we get ready for the kickoff, Chris, I think you have some interesting news to report. Just went and chatted with the clock staff and some of the coaching staff for the Gators, and what do you have to report for us?
Well, it looks like both teams had to agree upon a running clock at this point since it's past the special 35-point marker. But both teams have to agree, and one of the coaches basically said, we're not even sure if it was even offered. So it looks like we might not be getting a running clock after all. This score, I can honestly say, we could be approaching a triple-digit score if this holds up.
So I know I've seen some stats as an onside kick will be recovered by the Gators. Football is going to stay with Tulsa just because I guess they can. Need to practice it. But on Semi-Pro HQ, the great famous clearinghouse of all information, we take another look at the onside kick, kind of fooled their own cameraman. I've seen a handful of 100-point games. Even in this area, I believe in the old CFL days, there was a handful of 100-point scores. But have you ever been on hand for a 100-pointer in semi-pro?
Yes, I have. Back in the OMFL days, we've seen the Oklahoma City Diamondbacks pull off that on a couple of occasions. Once against the Oklahoma City Force. Another one, I believe it was the Duncan Diamonds, if I'm not mistaken. It was uglier than my ex-wife. Kind of like this game.
We have a stoppage and a timeout taken by the Kansas City Panthers. Interesting that they want to take a timeout down 41, but hey, can't take them back with you to Kansas City. Might as well just use them.
Might as well. But getting back to Semi-Pro HQ, the great Dick Seuss, before he passed away, And if you ever want to go back for any scores from 1999 to 2016, you can go back to semiprohq.com. They're still posted there. So you can get just about, I want to say 80% of all of the games that had been played from that duration. If you want to go back and find some scores, a little bit of history, what teams, what leagues existed at that time, that's the place to go to.
Yeah, I know when we were building our website for some of the teams that were competing in the Four States Football League in the fall of 2021, or excuse me, spring of 2021, that was a resource we used to go back. Because there were some teams that, there are fewer now, but there were some teams that have kind of bridged that gap from 2016 to today. Obviously, Joplin Crusaders come to mind as Griffith's going to have to make a decision. Still going, that should be a face mask, and there comes the flag brigade.
Yeah, that was definitely a face mask. We could see it all the way up here, and it'll be a personal foul right there, and it should warrant a first down and 10 after this play. But you're right, yeah. We were going back and through some of those historic records and all, and they hold a wealth of information, including, and there it is, the official call coming in, and including Sam Sturgis's team, the Joplin Crusaders. They are probably, honestly, I think the oldest team now in semi-pro football, and they started in 1999.
So they would be 23 years old.
Yes.
They're celebrating their Jordan year this year.
Yeah, Sam's dad actually started that team, so here it is.
First and 10 on the Panthers side of midfield after the personal foul face mask. Blitz will come, and a great individual effort there from Kansas City. It's the first kind of time we've seen Garrett Griffin under pressure in this ball game. As Gators might need to be careful here. While, yes, the lead is well in hand and pretty much the win is secured, can't relax too much. Might cause yourself to get injured, or some sloppy play might just by some miracle bring the Kansas City Panthers back into it.
I highly doubt that.
It would take some sort of miracle.
Yes, exactly it would. But, hey, since it's not going to be a rolling clock, if I'm that defensive coordinator, bring the heat. Bring the pressure all day long.
Nothing to lose.
Nope.
Panthers will go with two deep safeties. Griffin slinging it across the middle of the field. Another great throw, great catch. Will put the Gators at the Kansas City 30-yard line and move the sticks as Griffin has had some beautiful throws tonight.
Yes, he has. If he gets a little bit of protection in the pocket, give him just a couple of seconds more, boom, there you go.
Well, Dylan Luke checks out of the game. Run on first and 10 will be a pickup of about 4, and Dylan will come back into the game.
We had some work with Dylan Luke down there, and I did tell him, though, that, his name, Dylan Luke, is okay, but if you want a real good professional name, stage name for tight end, it's going to have to be Dylan Luche.
Yeah, tight ends just can't have a normal last name, can they?
No. You got to have a little bit of French tone to it, apparently.
Well, he's lined up as a H-back on the pattern. He's going to leak out, but Griffin looking end zone again, and we'll see if they give him possession. They do. That's another touchdown on the board. And the Gators, well, they're just having fun at this point if they weren't before.
And why not? I mean, really, this is really ugly at this point. I mean, 53 points, and you saw that one up in the air. It took me for a second because I thought, A, it could have been intercepted, B, it could have been batted because that was good defensive play. He was on his
in his spot, yeah.
Yeah, and it just, the ball was arced beautifully. It's hard to defend that.
Yeah. Well, now Tulsa extending their lead, looking to make it a 54-6 ball game. As with this extra point, if it goes through, I believe would make it the most points ever scored on the Southern Sports Network for a semi-pro Saturday, breaking the previous record held by the Tulsa Gators in 2020 when they played the NWA Generals, I believe. I believe they beat them 52-0.
Yes, it was the Generals' first year, and that was a tough game to call. At least Kansas City came in here And they started it off.
And scored.
And they scored. Right.
Yeah, I remember in that game, I believe the Generals got the opening kickoff and then immediately threw a pick six.
Exactly.
And that was when we knew we might be in trouble that day.
Yeah, and we certainly were. Luckily, we've got the gift of gab, and we talk about a lot of things. And again, today, we've got a plethora of knowledge, all semi-pro related.
Yeah, and, talking maybe more about those Generals, Marcus London has played, has coached, and now kind of trying his hand as an owner back in 2020. That was a crazy time, not just, in the semi-pro scene, but as everyone knows, is the global level as well. But starting your own team in the midst of a pandemic, as this one will go out of bounds as well. And now Generals own their own field.
Yeah. Yes, they do, in Pea Ridge. It was the Pea Ridge Little League field for a long time, and the ownership of the Generals decided that they wanted to have their hands a little bit more control, not have to worry about asking permission for a local high school or what have you not to come in. And they've done a great job at it. It takes a lot of money to run a field, and they put their heart and soul into it, blood, sweat, and tears, reconditioning it, repurposing it, and making improvements on it, and it's really good.
And you've seen the growth of the Generals. This is their third season in existence. The first year, they were not competitive at all. It was the running joke, like, are they going to get across the midfield, or, how many points is the other team going to score?
Right.
Last year, they didn't win a game on the field. They got a couple of forfeit victories, but they did improve. They did look better. As this play for the Panthers go in the wrong direction quickly, there'll be a loss of
10.
There'll be more. No, they're going to give him forward progress at the loss of 10 because they had him back down at the 20, but no, they'll be nice and give him progress at the 25 of the Kansas City Panthers. But this season, they've got to win on the field. They're scoring points. They're competitive. So who knows what this next season into 23 could even bring for the Generals if they can continue to stay the course. Northwest Arkansas famously has a good history with semi-professional football. Frankly, if it wasn't for semi-pro football in Northwest Arkansas, Southern Sports Network might not even exist in the capacity that it does today.
Absolutely true. A lot of truth to that, but there's been some great movement that we've made. We started in semi-pro. We've expanded to high school and expanding onto other professional and amateur sports as well. So, yeah, we owe a lot to this level of football.
Yeah, it's the roots of the Southern Sports Network. It's, the grassroots of even this game, the high school level, the semi-professional level. It's supporting your town. It's the mascot of your hometown. And I know for me, I'll always be a Green Wave of Malden, Missouri. Back home, it's just kind of the fabric and DNA of this country and of specifically this part of the world. Football is a religion down here in the South and Southeast. As that was nearly intercepted again.
Yeah, that was almost another gimme. Luckily for the Panthers, the defender, free safety, was out of position. But again, that's kind of the motive of what's going on with Kansas City, is that they could, but they don't have the means to do so right now.
They could, but they can't.
They can't.
It'll be interesting. Gators do play another Kansas City team. We've talked about them briefly on the broadcast in a handful of weeks, as this punt will be up and away, and improvement in the punt game. We've seen that tonight, so that's a positive that the Panthers can leave here with. But speaking of the Bulldogs, Tulsa will be traveling to play the Kansas City Bulldogs here in a couple of weeks. That game should be very interesting from a competitive standpoint, just because of both teams are a nationally relevant competitors.
Absolutely, they are, and that's a game that you really, if you're in the Kansas City area or plan to be, go to that one. I mean, if you want to see some of the best semi-pro football played, it's going to be between those two teams.
Yeah, and a big one also just in their league for the Gators next week. Going to be traveling to Joplin to take on the Crusaders, who that's always a tough place to visit for any team whether you're in the 4SFL or any other league that the 23-year-old Joplin Crusaders have been in. Is a great run from Terrell Buchanan into the second level. We have a flag down, might be a hold. Will negate all this, but Terrell, strong run across midfield and into Panther territory. As it looks like it might be coming back, though.
Unfortunately, but what a great run. I want to see that one again before we get the phone call. Before we get the call in the field. Look at that. Just kind of jumps over his defender and making space and just Jim Browning it is what I like to call it right now. He's just plowing through guys. But, yeah, this one's coming back, unfortunately. So it's going to bring up a first down, and it looks like about 12, maybe 13. We're going to call it 13 on the play.
Well, the way the offense has been playing, it could be 1st and 30, and I don't particularly think it'll matter tonight, as I imagine the Gators, since there's no running clock, they might just want to try and score 90 points tonight if they like.
That's true. I just got a correction, though. The Bulldogs are coming to Tulsa.
Coming to Tulsa.
If you're here in Tulsa.
Come back to Inola.
In 2 weeks.
And we should be here for that broadcast. I believe that's on April 23rd. As another first down. Like I said, it doesn't matter the down and distance or how far from the end zone. The Gators are just going to do what they want to do.
Yes, they are. So it's going to be a tale of two Kansas City teams here. So this one you've seen is complete blowout, brought to you by Huggies or Pampers. The next one is going to be much tighter. I expect a great football game out of that one. And, you could watch it here, or I would prefer if you would come on down to the stadium and watch it on hand. Some great entertainment here. You get to hear the pads, the hits, the great action there.
Yeah, come support your local team in the Tulsa metropolitan area. Another great play developing here for the Tulsa Gators. Still on his feet. A flag going to come in at the end. But Jarius Moll, a beautiful bit of route running and some fancy footwork, tried to take that one to the house.
Let's see that baby right there. Look at this. I mean, it's like playing Madden right now or NCAA. Look at that spin move. He just juked him right out of his shoes right there.
I'd be curious to see what the flag was. If we could take another look at that real quick, Chris, I think it might have came in right there. There were two Panthers on top of each other. As we wait the call, might have been a block in the back. It looks like that's what the penalty will be. But I think if we look at it again, I'm not entirely sure if they just didn't fall over each other or see if there was some assistance. It was down the field.
Yeah, that was a legal block, though.
I think it was – so there was a gentle shove, I believe, given there to push one Panther player over the top of the other one. But if they're going to call a block in the back, hey, they might as well call one there.
Yeah, but still great field position at the 24-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Gators.
And Griffith still out there slinging it like he has all night long. And again, another pass and another completion, spreading the wealth out there. Looks like there was Jeremiah Rainey, 25. No, excuse me, that's 15. Garrett Powell with the reception.
Again, that's the weapons that Garrett has to be able to throw to is just uncanny. You've got the league MVP. You got Marcel Miller. You've got all these guys and Dylan Luche. Sorry, Dylan, you're getting Luche for the rest of the game. But look at this. I mean, the passing game, the running game, the offensive line starts and stops with that. There you go.
Well, this is the play they fumbled on earlier in the night. Going to work out, and Griffith just going to go to the ground. As Gators might try to get a little too cute on 2nd down.
That's going to bring up a 3rd down and 13. Yeah, high snap on that one.
There's about 3 Gators players that could have got that snap, but it ended up with the quarterback.
And that's one area of the game that the Tulsa Gators are going to have to improve. Consistency on the snap. There's been 3 bad snaps so far today, which is 3 too many, in my opinion, being a former offensive lineman.
And those 3 bad snaps, you might be able to get away with inferior competition like the Panthers tonight. But next couple of weeks, the competition will get a little stiffer as Griffith, again, able to hit his man and an easy first down on a great route run. picks up another 1st and 10. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 12.
Another curl route on the inside, was able to take it back to the inside again and finish it out for the 1st down. Great route running right there.
As the Gators continue to march on. Little play action. Griffith able to sneak out of it. He's going to keep his eyes downfield looking for the end zone, and he'll get inside the pylon. He's already got a handful of passing ones. Why don't you add a rushing one to the tally tonight? Garrett Griffith have a night here in Inola. Makes it 60-6. 10 times multiplier on the Kansas City Panthers just in this 3rd quarter.
Celebration going on right there. We'll see that again. He rolls out on what looks to be a busted play, so he just decides to take it off on his own feet and then whoop right into the end zone. Got to adjust the clock there. Had a little off here.
Maybe they will run it now. Maybe not.
I doubt it.
If they haven't done it now, I guess they won't ever do it. As the extra point is good, 61-6. Yes, you heard us right, 61-6 here in Inola, home of the Longhorns. We will carry on with the 3rd quarter after this.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
At Northeastern State University in Muskogee, we take care of our students so they can take care of others. Choose from a variety of healthcare degrees, including physician assistant studies, nursing, occupational therapy, speech-language pathology, and more.
Well, welcome back. And as you saw there, Todd's Coffee Roastery, a great partner of the Southern Sports Network, a great Oklahoma company, local company. Small business. If you want to try some new coffee or try something different or support a local Oklahoman, Todd's Coffee Roastery, definitely a good coffee of choice, great coffee of choice. That Loco Red Dirt Bag, Logan County, that's right here in the Sooner State, or Cowboy State, I guess, if you are of a different religion.
No, it's the Sooner State. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. It is the Sooner State. But I'll tell you what, you are absolutely right. That coffee smells amazing. Unfortunately, I could never have caffeine in my body again because it has adverse effects. But I have roasted it and given several cups of coffee to my wife, and she absolutely loves it. She's a coffee connoisseur.
Back underway, and Panthers still having trouble on kickoff returns, but there's an alley, just a kicker to beat. And the kicker will stand tall like a brick wall, but best field position the Panthers have had all night.
Yes, the longest play of the game comes on offensive special teams, and good for them. At least they got something positive out of this game besides the first drive.
But if you do plan on buying some Todd's Coffee Roastery coffee, use the code SSN25, and you'll get 25% off your price at checkout. So I want to make sure to take advantage of that to get some delicious coffee that just smells phenomenal and tastes as good as it smells.
Yeah,
Great.
I'll put that on the French press. And yeah, we're coffee snobs, or at least I used to be. My wife still is, but man, good stuff.
It's a great start to your morning.
Absolutely it is.
And
or in this case, a long game.
Yeah, long game. And the great field position will be negated with a sack right out of the gates for the Panthers. But it's interesting, the kind of segue from Todd's Coffee Roastery. We met Todd last year at the USA Pickleball Mid-South Championship Tournament. We'll hopefully see Mr. Harden and his wife back in McKinney in a couple weeks' time, as they'll be competing, I imagine, again, as they won gold last year in their division.
Yes, they did.
Some serious pickleball players are the Hardens. It's interesting, though, a tandem of husband and wife. I know whenever I play with my girlfriend, it's a little competitive.
Yeah, I could imagine.
And Panthers going nowhere with this great field position. A 3rd and long once more faces the team from Kansas City.
Yeah, they're back in their own side of the territory now, so it's not looking too promising for them. They got to get at least one good drive in the second half.
Well, define good.
Positive yards. So they did start it off great with great field position, but they went backwards from there. So that's not good. That's kind of the opposite of good, Steve.
Well, they have to get to the Oh, that one going to be picked off as well. I was going to say they had to get to the Tulsa 36-yard line, but it's a moot point as we've lost count of how many interceptions the Kansas City Panthers have tonight. Threw this one into a crowd once again, and, well, second verse, same as the first.
Yeah, I think this is 4, maybe 5. I'll have to go back to the tally count on this one, but yeah, I mean, just errant passes in places that he shouldn't have been throwing to, and this is the result of it. And it's been a feast of the beast, otherwise known as the Tulsa Gator, as it's going to just take off with that ball and head back to the marsh.
Well, again, stop me if you've heard this before. 1st and 10 from inside the Kansas City Panther 50-yard line for the Tulsa Gators. It's pretty much been where they've started all night long as we near the end of the third quarter, about a minute and a half to go.
Yeah, clock is a weird clock tonight. That's what we're just going to call it. I'll do my best to keep up with it, but I am not going to make any promises tonight.
And that play going nowhere for the Gators, back across onto their own side of the 50 to start things.
Well, that's the best defensive play for the Panthers today, so there's something positive there. If you can get anything on defense at least, slow these Gators down a little bit. But the problem, though, is that, yeah, it's 2nd and 16, but that really doesn't mean a whole lot, does it?
Yeah. It's also 61-6.
So there's that too.
But strangely, I would say that the defensive side of the ball, well, yes, they've given up 61 points, almost has played better as a sack on the field. 2 negative plays in a row for the Tulsa Gators has been the better of the 2 units.
Yeah, it certainly has. Yeah. I mean, offensively, they just couldn't do anything at all, except for
they got gift wrapped the first drive,
yes.
But
yeah,
other than that, that's all.
That's exactly it. And I know these guys are winded and everything, but they're still playing with their hearts, and that's what you like to see. There hasn't been any significant injuries out there. It's been a clean game so far. It looks like we've got a stoppage in play.
No, I think they're going to be content to go to the end of the third quarter, and we're happy that they are. We end the third quarter, our score 61-6. If you can't tell it is over, well, stick around for the final 15 minutes to see how many points Tulsa decides to score on the poor Kansas City Panthers. We will return after this.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
Well, welcome back to Semi-Pro Saturday Night on the Southern Sports Network, a tradition that started all the way back in 2018. with the Northwest Arkansas battles continued on strong as we are here in 2022. 5 years been doing semi-pro Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Just realized. This is the 5th season. 3rd and 20 on the field. Gators haven't had any trouble all night. Don't expect him not to now. And shocker there. Another 3rd down conversion for the Tulsa Gators as there was nobody around Garrett Griffin's intended target.
Yeah, I even had our camera operator a little fooled, so we didn't get the whole thing in there. So unfortunately, I don't have a replay for you on this one, but shocker. Shocker is all I have to say. It's just, wow. Get Griffin out of the pocket, give him a little bit of time. He'll make magic happen. He's got the weapons for it.
Yeah, it's like they're playing 7-on-7 out there, flag football.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Well, handoff on 1st and 10 for Terrell Buchanan. He'll get down to the Panther 10-yard line.
Like a 2nd and 2 to me, if I'm looking at it right.
Yep, 2nd down and 2. I imagine they might just turn around and hand it back again to Buchanan.
Or they're going to have a penalty.
Laundry on the field. False start. Penalty against the Gators.
Yeah, they're just spotting them 5.
Yeah, why not?
They want to make it a little harder on themselves.
All right, so 2nd down and 7 here. And, oh, the play call. Watch for it on the right side.
Just going to be a handoff for Buchanan again, and he'll pick up a yard. Make it 3rd and 6.
It'll be 3rd down.
Some substitutions. Buchanan will check out. Denny Knighton will check in. Keep an eye on 19 in gray. Well, 19 in gray and with a green helmet, because I don't think anybody told the Panthers that the Gators were in gray as well. So it's a
yeah.
A lot of gray out on the field tonight.
Okay, so it looks like we got another stoppage in play. It looks like a timeout, and it's going to be Tulsa.
Tulsa, yeah, they'll take a timeout. Even teams that are up.
Yeah, and I think what had happened right there is that they were just kind of off kilter, lined up wrong. But with this Tulsa team, you kind of got the spark in it that no matter what they do, even if it's 4th and 20, they're going to put themselves in a position where they're going to make that 1st down and ultimately a touchdown. So, yeah, they need to brush up on a few things for the next couple of weeks. I think they're doing that tonight by getting a little bit deeper in their playbook and testing a few things out because they know that they're going to need to do this against the Bulldogs. Bulldogs are a prime example of the team that you want to play up against, but you want to have your A game against. So get some of these ready to go.
We get back underway with about 12 and a half minutes to go in the ball game. 3rd and 6. Might say I don't want to say it's a crucial 3rd and 6. This game is well in hand. Regardless if the Gators get it here, I imagine they will. As Danny Knighton's in at quarterback. Imagine we'd see this at some point tonight. He's going to look end zone and almost a touchdown grab for the Gators. But just a little too tall from the former SSN MVP of the 4SFL.
It wasn't a bad throw, and it was a good target, everything. But, just an inch or two off.
Well, and that's okay if it's your backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And you're up 61-6.
Exactly.
4th and 6.
Looks like we've got a running clock now on the field, so I am not going to touch this for the rest of the game. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that thing's just going to roll, baby, roll. Danny Knighton back in. Looks like it'll be his baby the rest of the way. As he's looking to do something with it, he's just going to take off with his feet. He can do that. He does a little bit of everything, and he'll find the end zone at the very end of the play. Touchdown, Danny Knight, and his second one has a receiving to go along now. A rushing touchdown. See if he can get the Gordie Howe hat trick of football, get a passing touchdown later in the evening.
This is just not even fair. This is, it's hard to stop him. I mean, and credit the Panthers for trying, but they are gassed. You could definitely tell there was hardly any adjustment on that one, and there was really hardly any effort.
Yeah, Tulsa now just seeing how many points that they can score tonight. Extra point up. Extra point good. 68-6 in Inola.
You know, I don't know what to say, honestly, except for it's, we might not hit 100 now that we're getting a rolling clock, but we still are under 11 minutes now. I mean, there's a lot of football to be played still, but if there's not too many possessions that you can give to Kansas City for them to do anything with at this point. I mean, I honestly think that they should have thrown in the towel earlier and had the rolling clock going, salvage something, but there's a possibility, honestly, that we could be looking at 75 points easy.
Yeah, now they're getting beat down by 62 points. Only 32 points from 100.
Yeah, that's true. It also depends on the Gators' defensive play, too. Of course, this is the time where you're just making all your subs. You just want to get those guys in those positions to give them some more practice, some more play. Depthness plays a huge factor in semi-pro football. I don't care what anybody says. Some of the best teams out there have a lot of deep players there. Whether they were spectacular players or not, you get those fresh legs in there, those fresh bodies, it's going to make a world of difference to be able to play longevity.
And you can get some guys in who don't get to play off and let them have a little bit of fun, let them feel involved in the result. It would take about 5 more touchdowns for Tulsa to hit that magic triple-digit number, as Kansas City trying to string something here. They've had some success on kickoff returns. There's another decent one for the Panthers, is where they will get going around about their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, that's one area there's 2 areas that I could critique against the Tulsa Gators today that they definitely need to improve on. This is one of them. Special teams play, they definitely need to tighten up some more. That and the errant snaps. That's really the only 2 things that I could really harp on this Tulsa Gators team, which is a great thing. I know that you're playing up against an inferior opponent because this is their first showing, blah, blah, blah. Outside of that, it's how you manage the game. Are you making crisp plays? Is your line, that's one thing that gets overlooked too many times, is the offensive and defensive lines. Are they opening up holes? Are they able to penetrate through? Those are the things I see there. Proper footwork. They're doing great swim moves on the defensive side. They're being able to penetrate. On the offensive side, they're able to stop them. I think they're doing great on the line.
Well, 8 minutes to go as we get back underway, and maybe a yard on 1st and 10. Yeah, it reminds me of some of those defenses that they had in 2020 for the Gators. I remember doing the stats for a couple of games that we did with them, and I think they had some crazy thing in the regular season where two of the games we did consecutively, they gave up a combined 10 yards. Because that was just sort of the role that both sides of the football were on. They were winning games 52-0 and then giving up just a handful of yards all night.
Yeah, for sure. Well, here are the Panthers again. Same formation that they've had all night. With about the same success.
Yeah, they got a yard or 2.
Okay, we'll give them 3rd down and 8. How's that?
Yeah, be charitable.
No, actually, if I'm going to be charitable, I'm going to give them 3rd down and 7. So let's give them 3rd down and 7.
7.5.
Well, I can't put a half in there.
That's a shame.
Unfortunately, I can't do fractions.
Fractions are scary.
Yeah, unless you're in the trades, then you have to rely.
Yeah, you have to know the trades. Yeah. Well, 3rd down again.
3rd down for Kansas City.
Let's see if the Panthers can string something here to pick up a first down. They do. Clever little play where you've been waiting on this all night. QB for Kansas City going to trot safely into the end zone. Where has this been all night? You wait until you're down 62 points to pull out a great play call from the Panthers as they answer the bell. Finally, their first score since the second minute of the first quarter.
Look at this, right up the gut. The Gators were expecting outside, and that left containment on the outside, but nobody in the middle to be able to, stop that run, which honestly they could. They had two players there, but they had the wrong trajectory, and there you go. Touchdown for the Panthers. Good for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Good for the Panthers.
A little moral victory.
Yeah. Well, they needed something, and they got it now. Thank goodness.
They're taking their time trying to figure out their 2-point conversion play, it looks like.
Well, they're going to get a delay if they don't watch it.
Well, they're going to get it off. End zone intercepted. Let's see if this one gets returned. Oh, they're going to blow it dead. It is high school rules after all. That is the rule.
That is. You cannot advance that in high school rules.
Hey, Sam Sturgis, if you're watching, let's fix this.
Super Sam. All right. We'll get him on the horn and figure that out. But, a lot of the rules and regulations, he's just a commissioner. He doesn't make the rules and regulations. Those are actually ruled by the governing body, which is each owner of the league will actually have a say. So they'll have a vote on those kind of things, and they'll have their voting committee, and they'll have their rules and regulations committee, and then they'll make a decision and determination. Whatever they're stuck with, whatever they vote with, that's what it is, and that's what we're seeing tonight.
Well, they added hurdling this season, so maybe next season we add the being able to play a turnover on a 2-point conversion.
Yes, advance the ball. And that's what the head official and the line judge were discussing there with Danny Knighton. As you can see, he's trying to plead his case, but what he doesn't realize, though, Danny doesn't realize, is that, yes, in high school
you can't do it.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's interesting that they haven't adopted that rule.
Yeah, I mean, NFHS, they really look after the players for safety, and that's their number one concern outside of being able to play this sport in itself, which is completely understandable.
Well, I was saying more just, I guess, at this level, you have the down by contact already put in like the pros do. You have 15-minute quarters like the pros do. You can return kicks and punts out of the end zone like the pros do. So it's just interesting that I guess they overlooked that rule.
Which is a special teams rule, which is easy to overlook.
Because there's no special teams in semi-pro.
It seems like it. But at the same token, though, this is one of those situations where I want to say most semi-pro leagues use high school referees for two reasons. First of all, that's what they can afford. That's really the underlying cause right there. Second of all, there's hardly any training in semi-pro. So they kind of give them a laundry list of, all right, here's a few things that we want to modify from the rules and regulations that you guys already know. That gets a little confusing and convoluted for guys that are at this age and caliber, is that they want to play at a professional level, but you are playing with high school rules because of those reasons.
Yeah, we've seen that on occasion for doing these broadcasts. We're back underway with about 3 minutes to go in the ball game, where an official will blow a whistle if somebody falls down to the ground after a catch or something along those lines. Is a big tackle. Need to watch tempers there at the end. Don't want to get anybody ejected or anything like that for extracurriculars. But yeah, we've seen that over the years, over the 5 years of semi-pro Saturday night. Sometimes the official will just, that's what they do every Friday night in the fall, is call it whenever a guy goes down to the ground. And
yep. Yeah, you see that too. We're adjusting the clock right now to meet up with the same one. There's a little bit of discrepancy. So
synchronizing our watches.
Trying to, the best of what we do. We do our best with what we got.
Well, another quarterback has entered into the game for the Gators. Need to get his number once we can tell it from our commentary position. Handoff on 1st and 10. Strong run for the Gators. It'll be
Looks like we got a injured Kansas City Panther who got
that's
rolled over.
You hate that, just with about a minute and a half to go in the ballgame to get hurt or just to get dinged up in any capacity. That stings.
Yeah, he's up on his feet now, but they give him the 1st and 10.
Just a handful of plays left in this one. As again on the ground. And another 1st and 10 for the Gators. It's going to be a foot race down to the Kansas City 15-yard line, as even with the backups in, it's coming in bunches for the Gators here at the close of the ball game. As we hit a minute to go.
Yeah, and it's looking closer and closer to that 75-point mark. We could see it here today, Stephen, if they make this one in.
Quarterback draw. Doesn't look like anybody's really trying at this point, but a group tackle, group effort for the Panthers. As we hit half a minute left to go in the ball game. It's a race against time now for Tulsa, the only opponent they've really faced tonight. Another handoff and nothing going there. 20 seconds to go.
I don't think we'll see it tonight, but join us here in a couple of weeks because another Kansas City team comes into town, but I can guarantee you it's not going to be anything like this.
Well, we go under 10 seconds. It'll probably be the last play of the game. Just going to be a handoff around the side, and that'll do it here in Inola. Our final score, the Tulsa Gators 68. The Kansas City Panthers travel down to take a shellacking with 12 points. We will be back in a couple of weeks as another Kansas City team comes to town to hope to fare better. The Kansas City Bulldogs will come to Inola on semi-pro Saturday night. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks for our entire Southern Sports Network crew. Chris Dodson, Jackie, running our camera tonight. I'm Stephen Blackston. Thanks for watching. Have a safe and sound Saturday night, and we'll see you in a couple weeks right back here in Inola.